I have to tell you, as much as I don't like playing teams of destiny, and we talked about this the other day, I don't like playing teams of destiny. I don't like playing teams that have a bigger thing to fight for. The more I think about it, the more I feel like the Rams shot their shot last week, that the Rams got that win for the people in Los Angeles last week, and that when you travel cross-country, when you haven't been able to maybe focus as well on the task at hand because of what's been happening in LA, when you put that together with an Eagles team that, while they haven't won pretty games every week, continue to win and find ways to win. And as I've said all year, great teams find ways to win games when something isn't going right. I think the Eagles win this game. Now, I'm not ready to go on the record and say it's going to be like a 2-touchdown game. This could very well be a 1-possession game. This could be a last-minute field goal where Jake Elliott gets back everybody's confidence with like a knuckling 46-yard field goal in the snow. That'd be good for his confidence as well. But it is fair to point this out. And this is ultimately the thing that I will come back to. Matthew Stafford is a really, really good quarterback. And even at this stage of his career, he is a very good quarterback. And I'm not a huge historical stats guy. At least I'm not a historical facts guy from like the standpoint of like franchise-wise. The Eagles are blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah in cold weather games started from 1980 through now. Like that kind of stuff doesn't matter to me because the players are different, the coaches are different, the fields are different, everything's different, right? Matthew Stafford in his career is 1-8 with a 54.6 completion percentage, 14 touchdowns and 11 interceptions, and a 76 passer rating in outdoor games in the rain or snow. So if you want to call that cold, nasty weather, you want to call it snowy adjacent weather, slushy weather, 1-8, 54.6 completion percentage, 14 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 76 passer rating. That, my friends, is a historical trend that I can get behind. That's tied to the player. And my friends, that to me is going to be a large reason why the Eagles walk away with the win on Sunday. I think you are going to see an Eagles defense that gets after Matthew Stafford in a way that he is not used to being gotten after. I imagine that Saquon Barkley is going to have a massive day, and I would not be surprised to see Jalen Hurts force the issue with A.J. Brown after last week, and A.J. Brown goes for over 100 yards. Maybe he even puts up a touchdown or two of his own. There is a scenario here where the Eagles do open this game wide open. There is a chance that this ends up being a one-possession game. The thing that I don't foresee happening is the Rams getting a big win, and honestly, even though last week's game left a few of us feeling a little bit about the long-term Super Bowl projections here, I think the Eagles win. And I think the Eagles can win pretty damn big. Reed DeFord also checks in with a good stat here. Says Stafford was 10 of 25, no touchdowns, no interceptions the last time he played in the snow in Philly. Fantastic. That's a great number. Rams versus Eagles in the playoffs. Rams are 3-0. That means nothing, of course. That's not Johnny, in fairness, I don't think that matters. Kurt Warner's not walking through that door. Marshall Faulk is not walking through that door. Torrey Holt is not walking through that door. It ain't happening. Historical trends about teams head-to-head in the playoffs, if they're not, like, relevant to the last, like, let's say 5 seasons, they don't mean shit to me. They can mean something to you. Johnny says, I really hope the Eagles underestimate McVay in the playoffs. So, Johnny, I assume, is a Rams fan? I really, really hope the Eagles underestimate McVay in the playoffs. We'll see. I don't see it. But if you're a Rams fan, on a positive note, it's been at least a somewhat successful season getting this far. So that's a positive. It's a good thing. I think whoever wins this game ultimately does go on to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. If the Rams get past this Eagles team in hostile conditions, in bad weather conditions, I will believe that they're a team of destiny. So whether it's the Eagles or whether it's the Rams, I think that they'll get to the Super Bowl. Detroit is a threat, but there is like a weird part of me. I would not put money on Washington winning this weekend, but Jaden Daniels has something going on. There is a part of me that thinks there's a chance that Jaden Daniels makes that game very, very interesting late. And that Jaden Daniels might even have the opportunity to run a 2-minute drill with a chance to either tie the game or go ahead with a touchdown in regulation. I think it's going to be that close. Is it possible that Detroit's going to blow their doors off? Maybe. But I think that there's a chance Jaden Daniels has a hell of a game. Can you imagine if after all of the arguments about the rushing record, if after all the arguments about home field and the number 1 seed, can you imagine if the Eagles win this week? Washington upsets Detroit, and the Eagles host the Commanders in the NFC Championship game. That would be wild. Though in fairness, there's a part of me that would really like to see what Eagles-Lions in Detroit looks like, because I think that the Eagles would win in that game. I do. So we'll see.